This is Live for Love TV. Live for Love TV. Yes, I am.
Make sure to subscribe and leave us a review.
One step more. One step more. One step more. Until you reach your goals. One step more. Save them souls. One step more.
This is Live for Love TV. Live for Love TV. Yes, I am.
Make sure to subscribe and leave us a review.
Be sure to join us next time.
Welcome back here for Live for Love TV, the 8th day of the 4th month of 2021. I hope everyone's doing well out there. I thought I'd share a story from my past, which I thought would be interesting to people out there and interesting to younger people and people who maybe don't know some of our history as black people in this country and around the world. So I'm going to share a little bit of a story, and this is a true story. This happened to me in the mid-80s, early to mid-80s. Not exactly sure what year, but it was somewhere around about 84, 85. I was working in a company as a minority of a big company, and it was a decent job those days. And I can really remember we had a football team, and I thought I was a little bit of a baller. They thought I was a bit of a baller, so they had me in the team. And I was doing pretty well in that team. Anyway, somebody in the company decided to arrange a match with Italians, and that would be in Italy. So my first trip to Italy, I was really excited, and we're going to go and play football, and we're going to get into proper stadiums to play some football. It was good. It was a good idea. It was a good feeling. And I remember we left Gatwick, we went down to Italy, came off the plane, and then went inside to the main part of the airport. Within no time of going into that main part of the airport, I was surrounded by, I'd say today, two-legged dogs carrying four-legged dogs. Dogs barking everywhere. Anyone would have thought the biggest terrorist has just arrived into the country. They tried to intimidate me, bully me. They were asking me questions, 3, 4, 5 people at a time, as if you could answer 3 or 4, 5 people at the same time. And I didn't know what was going on. I was a bit confused. I was a young man, so I didn't know what was going on, but I just let them go on with what they were going on with. Eventually, they took my passport away, then took me into a little room, started questioning me, asking me all sorts of questions about around the world and da-da-da-da and this and that. I mean, I can't remember now. But my spirit came back to me at that time. And, when you're in a room with these kind of people, you remember yourself pretty quickly. And it wasn't long after speaking to these people with the disrespect that I thought they deserved, that they couldn't wait to get me out of there. So I left there, went back with the guys who I was on the trip with. We got on our coach and went back to our hotel, which was a dorm type hotel. I didn't want to talk to anybody. If I could have got a plane straight out of there, I'd have left that minute. They were all embarrassed. They'd never seen anything like it. I mean, they grew up in the UK. They obviously didn't know too many brothers, and they'd never seen racism to that level. But to be honest with you, I'd seen a lot of racism. We'd fought our battles, but I'd never seen it in that sort of way, so blatant and so overt. But to cut a long story short, I was, as they say, pissed the whole day. They were embarrassed the whole day, the rest of my team. Night falls, and they want to go on the strip to go to the clubs. I'm really not in the mood to go to any clubs. I don't drink much anyway, and I'm certainly not in a very good mood. So I don't want to go, but eventually they talked me into going. So we decide that we're going to go to the club. So we tour the strip, and we walk up and down, and then we find a club that's really happening and it's really going on in there. And I'm still not in a great mood, but they're up for it, so I'm up for it. So let's go. So we go into one of these clubs, and for anybody who remembers the 80s, or I don't know if it's the 70s or the 80s, but as soon as I went into that club, as if I transferred into the Fonz from Happy Days, or one of those kind of characters, John Travolta or something like that. I mean, the females were all over me, grabbing me to dance with me. This one wants to dance with me, that one wants to dance with me. My team had never seen anything like it. I'd never seen anything like it, and it was was an experience to behold. I'm telling you, it was amazing. And anyway, the night we rave, we all raved and had a good time and bubble and thing like that. Anyway, later that night we all go back to our dorm, and as so behold it, I'm there and I'm thinking, well, I feel a little bit better now because things not looking as bad as they did. So the next morning we get up and they want to go to the beach. So we're going to go to the beach. So we head down to the beaches. And as I'm walking on, they've gone, a couple of them have gone ahead of us. And as I've come onto the beach, I've seen a load of Italian men walking around, strutting around like some sort of, I don't know what to call them, like they were some sort of he-men, puffed up, chest up there, and these little skinny little wide fronts and walking around. And the minute they saw me, I mean, the deflation in them was amazing. They just deflated like a balloon. It just went down. The chest went down, the head went down, and I quickly started to understand what the play was. That these guys were pretending to be me. They were pretending to be black, the black stallions of the Europeans. It was amazing. And when they saw a real black man, they shriveled up even more than they were shriveled up before. I found that amazing as well, and it was another good day at the beach. Anyway, cut a long story short, I came back from that trip. It wasn't a long trip. I came up from that trip maybe an inch or 2 inches taller because I'd learned a lot in that short period of time about what racism really was at its core. It was fear, insecurity, intimidation. It was men not feeling like men because of other men. It was amazing for me to see that as a young man. It still took me years to process because I'll admit that even though you could see what was happening, processing it in the environment and with the people around you was still not that easy. And I would say it took me another 10, maybe 15 years to feel comfortable in my own skin. And I say that without no apology because I know there's a lot of people who, when they listen to this, who think they feel comfortable in their own skin. But that could be tested at any given time. But going on from there is what I did learn 10, 15 years later as I started to move, and this is processing, is that racism was almost, I started to wear it almost like a badge of honor, and I can't lie. I mean, if these guys at the airport and on the beaches were so racist because they couldn't be like me, but wanted to be like me, or they were intimidated that maybe I could take their daughter or sister or cousin or girlfriend without even trying, then there has to be something to me. So I took it as a badge of honor. And whenever I went for a job and I knew I was qualified for that job, I'm not saying if I couldn't do the job or I didn't understand the job. If I got a point where I knew, and we know this, when you know that you are the best person for that job, but you're not given that job because of racism, maybe sometimes sexism, then it never hurt me, never concerned me. I always knew that, of course, they're not going to give me the job if they think I can do the job better than them. Why would I go away disappointed? Why would I go away feeling with my head down? My head was higher. They were making me stronger every day. And I want young people to understand that's what racism should make you feel like. It should make you stronger, never make you feel weaker. The only time it makes you feel weaker is when you yourself are not comfortable in your own skin. And that's why I say it took so long for me to process being comfortable even in my own skin. So those things are a major way of looking at, a different way, sorry, let me say that, a different way of looking at what racism really is. Right now, if you're looking, I'm going to switch over to UK English Premiership football, which is where racism is being talked about constantly, and people are doing kneeling down trying to stop this sort of race hate and all this stuff like that. Yeah, good luck with that. Yeah, I won't be holding my breath over that one. We've seen racism in football for years, all the way up. And what's interesting is that I don't think in the Premiership right now there is a single black player or ex-player or even manager, so I say, that's been an ex-player or is manager at all. I could be wrong. You can correct me there. Is there any black managers in the football Premiership in England? I've no idea. As far as I'm concerned, I don't see any. I can't think of any right now off my head. And the funny thing about that is, and this is what the funny thing is, as I said, racism. Maybe it's the same old thing. Maybe they're frightened that if they start letting in too many black men to be things, they'll be successful. And why do I say that? Because when you look down the league, the Premiership, you hardly see an English manager in any of the big teams. None of them are trusted. Can't be trusted with big teams. The other day they had Frank Lampard, untested man, given the job that he hadn't really warranted, but they gave it to him anyway. They gave it to him because he was an old boy. He ticked all the right boxes. Didn't last very long, but that's the way it goes. And when I look at Premiership football, I look all the way. I see Germans. What do we see? Spanish, Portuguese, all these different nations of people being entrusted with British teams, and every time an English manager is trusted with a team, he lasts no time whatsoever. So that tells you a lot about the ability of the English managers. And for some reason, no black manager can get into that environment, even though they're doing so badly in this country. And I think that's the same thing as I was saying earlier about the ability for somebody to be able to do better than somebody else than they could do. They don't want that to happen, and that's not going to happen for now. So racism is going to be with us for a long, long time. So long as there's insecurities, so long as there's weaknesses and frailties in people's concepts, then there's going to be racism is going to be with us for a long time. And people such as myself and you, hopefully listening, and many other people should understand that this is not for you to fix. That's not your problem. Let somebody else fix it. Your issue is to get comfortable in your own skin. So comfortable that you can go anywhere in the world and feel like yourself, authentic. You can blend into places where people look like you. Let's say you go to a continent of Africa. Maybe you go to the Caribbean, South America. You don't get lost inside the people. You don't get lost not knowing yourself there. You don't get lost and feel you have to run back where you actually stick out. You find yourself and you find your strength. When we were young, we used to run. We had our sprinters. We all ran fast. And we were all quick. Some were quicker than others. And we were all quick guys. And I can remember that. But in school and in my environment, it was harder than going for a championship. Because when you got to the championship, sometimes there's only one black person there and you're always the fastest runner. You may not have been the fastest runner in your neighborhood, but you was always the fastest runner there. Too many of us are too good. And this has always been a case in point as to why racism survives so well and so long. So do we hold our heads down? Do we bow down? Do we say, oh no, we won't be as good? No, we keep being better and better and better. Raising the bar, raising the standard. Have no fear, no care. Once you're in your own skin and you're comfortable with it, what other people think about you. We're going to keep moving. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep the love. They can keep the fear. We'll keep the love. And this is Live for Love TV. And I'll be seeing you.
This is Live for Love TV. Live for Love TV. Yes, I am.
Make sure to subscribe and leave us a review.
Be sure to join us next time.
Live for Love TV.